When the sun goes down in cities across America, a creepy creature stalks the streets.
Rats are everywhere. I see rats in the planters. I see rats in the front yard. I see them crawling up into the cars.
When David Ridgway moved into this desirable Washington neighborhood of art galleries and embassies, he never imagined he'd have some undesirable house guests. Then one night, he heard a loud noise.
These doors were going like this, like something out of The Exorcist, you know, and I got the knife and I'm trying to kill the thing in the cabinet without letting it into the house, you know, so I have the cabinet half shut, and it escaped.
The rat population is not just exploding in our nation's capital. Rats are also trotting down train tracks in New York, scurrying along streets in Chicago, and brazenly appearing in broad daylight on rooftops in LA. The rodents are bold squatters at the most exclusive address in Manhattan.
I've had them at Gracie Mansion. They walked across, and when you see them, no matter how immune you are to anything or how brave you think you are, rats get you really scared.
Turn on the rat cam.
And these pests have even made a star appearance in the alleyway behind David Letterman's studio.
The size of an intern, for God's sakes. We got woodchucks out there.
It may sound funny, but for disease ecologist Greg Glass, rats are a deadly serious problem. He studies how the rodents cause many infectious diseases, like rat bite fever, the sometimes lethal hantavirus, and the flu-like leptospirosis.
There are a number of diseases in which we know the rates of infection in people is quite high. For instance, leptospirosis can be found in 16% of people living in the inner city in Baltimore. That's probably quite typical of most urban areas.
You don't even have to touch a rat to end up at the doctor's office. The animals transmit most diseases indirectly.
It sheds either the virus or the bacteria, whatever the agent is, into the environment. And then people come along and come into contact with that contaminated surface, and it enters either through breaks in their skin or something that they inhale.
To study rats, Glass sometimes goes on a sort of urban safari, setting traps at night.
There goes a rat.
While there are hundreds of rat species, the one in most American cities is the Norway rat, which shares its roots with many early settlers.
They were on the Pilgrim's boats, and in fact, if you do genetic studies, you can actually link rats in certain cities with the areas that settlement originally came from out of Europe.
The typical Norway rat weighs about a pound, and counting the tail is about a foot long. It's amazingly agile, capable of long jumping 3 feet and high jumping 4. And it can slip through tiny holes because not all the plates in its skull are fused.
The smallest opening that I've heard of a Norway rat squeezing through is an opening the size of a nickel.
New York has received 13,000 rat complaints this year. Washington got 10,000 last year and expects the year 2000 to show a 15% increase. So the capital city is now pumping up its baiting program.
You got food, so they just have a party. It's like a nightclub at night back here.
City officials say the rat problem has become so bad that in October they'll start fining restaurants $1,000 for improper garbage disposal. But even if the trash is controlled, ridding cities of rats is a mega mission because they multiply so feverishly.
Every 22 days, a female rat can have a litter of 7 to 10 pups.
In just a few days, these pups develop fuzz, and soon after that, they'll have offspring of their own. Weight, not age, determines when they can breed. The more they feast, the faster they grow, and they become sexually active at 8 ounces, which usually takes just 3 months. So before long, their babies will romp, roam, and reign over many corners of this country.